Hello, and welcome to my presentation on food photography. Imagery of food has been around since the dawn of time, all the way back to prehistoric cave art. Look here. Food photography started appearing in the early 19th century, resembling still life images, focusing on realism, composition, and lighting effects. One of the most well known images is William Henry Fox Talbot's A Fruit Piece from 1845, showing baskets of fruit on a patterned tablecloth. Some techniques of capturing great photos of food are utilizing good lighting and having a very staged, appetizing looking subject. Everything down to the last drop of sauce must be placed just so. I believe a good result of food photography is producing an image that makes the viewer crave the dish and be able to imagine the flavors and textures through good lighting, composition, and styling. If you are looking at a photograph of a bowl of spaghetti with meatballs and it is captured skillfully, you should be able to imagine eating it. You can imagine the zesty taste of the tomatoes, the savory bite of the basil, texture of the noodles, and the salt tangy taste of the Parmesan cheese. Some common equipment utilized for food photography is a camera, tripod, good lighting, a diffuser, backdrops, lenses, or light boxes. You also need editing software, of course. Some other things that would make your photos interesting are props, such as utensils, napkins, slices of fruits or veggies, cups, or other common tableware. Viewers love seeing the story behind food prep, especially if the images are used on a cooking recipe website. Rather than a finished dish, they want to see the journey and showmanship of cooking. Natural, indirect sunlight is best indoors if possible. Overhead lighting can make food look dingy. For thick foods, big piles, or stacked foods, table height is a good angle. You can achieve this by setting your camera flat against the table or by utilizing a tripod. If you need to view more of what's in front of you, you can use a 45-degree angle. This helps show depth. It is also good for taking pictures of food in bowls, deeper containers, or a buffet. You can also use overhead angles directly from above to show lots of textures and different elements of the food you're photographing. Depending on how tall the surface is that you're photographing, you may need a step stool or to set the plates or bowls onto the floor. In the food advertisement industry, foods are meticulously styled and perfected, often using tricks and tools that are not actually edible ingredients. There are many ways to stage foods to make it look more appealing for advertising, and a lot of these ingredients, ugh. Some techniques that food photographers use are substituting ingredients, such as shaving cream for whipped cream, mashed potatoes for ice cream, or glue or cornstarch to simulate milk, spreads, things like that. Motor oil is also utilized to um, make your pancakes look more amazing than they would if you had syrup in front of you. These techniques have been put under scrutiny because these practices actually mislead consumers into thinking the products they're purchasing will actually be the products advertised. There are laws in place, so companies have to follow regulatory compliance. Because of history of false advertising in many companies, many brands have gotten negative publicity because consumers feel deceived. I'm sure everyone is familiar with this sort of thing. You see a commercial on TV for a delicious looking burger or tacos, and it makes you crave fast food. You get there, you order, and you receive your food. It looks like a dilapidated, sad version of what was advertised. A couple good examples of this are a McDonald's Big Mac and Jack in the Box tacos. You can see the huge differences between the advertisement versus the real product that restaurants actually serve. In 2011, World Food Photography Awards were founded and have covered the full cultural range of the depiction of food in society since their inception. Here you can see a wide array of perspectives and cultures in these award-winning images. Each has its own individual style in a vastly different setting. Laura Matthesius is a German photographer that works with food styler Nora Iserman. Their photos show beautiful, bright contrast, and their creations are gorgeous. Their food blog is called Our Food Stories. Nick Gatos is another modern photographer and graphic designer that has mastered the skill and artistry of being a food photographer. Many of his works look like they're about to jump right off the page onto your plate. He states, "I don't take photos, I design them." One of the other artists that we visited this semester is Edward Weston, and we modeled our produce images after his iconic work that highlighted the importance of tonality. His images were modern for his time, and even back in the 1930s, his images were sharply focused where you could see rich, vibrant details. This is my list of works cited if you want to go check out any of the information that I shared in my presentation today. We've got Food Blogger Pro, the World Food Photography Awards, Tastewise, and the Great Big Photography World websites. Thank you for coming to my presentation, and I hope you enjoyed all of this amazing, wonderful information on food photography.